This is 8/5/2020. This is a SWRCA event at the Evansville Wartime Museum. We'll have a talk on the P-47 and Evansville during World War II. This is the SWRCA attendance. We're having lunch sponsored by the SWRCA and the P-47 Foundation. The date today is 8/5/21.
Good morning. We're going to go ahead and talk. My wife told me we need to talk while we're eating. So I'm behaving in what I'm told. I think men and women learn that in their lives to do what you're told. Okay. This is my name, and this is the Evansville Wartime Museum. And our new acquisition is behind you, and we'll talk about that big baby in a little bit. That baby is called a P-47 and has a new name, Hoosier Spirit 2. Hoosier Spirit 1 came off the assembly line about September 15th of 1942. Thank you for coming today. SWRCA is our co-sponsor today. And we want to thank all the staff from SWRCA for helping with organizing this. And SWRCA is very important to our community, and will be very important to our community. This is the first of the series. The first Thursday of every month, we have the first 3 lined up, and we will continue depending on interest. We're going to teach you about what Evansville did in World War II, and I think everybody to be here, you have to be older than 55 years of age. So if any one of you are younger, I'd like you to leave. And 87 minutes back. If anybody sneaking in, leave. But the reason I'm saying that is if you go to Japanese society, we need some more chairs. There's 3 newcomers here, please. You go to Japanese society, they revere their older people. And if you think about what we do in our lives, we make lots of mistakes. I'm sure you haven't made as many as I have. But we don't write those. We just say, we chalk that up and say, let's don't do that again. So I think you need to talk to your grandkids, your nieces, nephews, and other people, and you can bring them out here. We're having some new things out here. We're going to get some new cabinets, about 3 or 4 new displays in the near future. We have 4 simulators ordered, and they will be here by the next conference. We'll have them on the first Thursday of September. Simulators are things that help people learn how to fly. And if you do pass your medical, then you can fly. But just because you can do it on a simulator doesn't mean you know how to fly in an airplane. So you got to pass another test. But your grandkids or your nieces and nephews may like to come out here. We'll have 4 simulators, and we'll charge a minimal amount for them that they can learn the experience of flying with 3 TV screens and many of the effects that one would get with flying. We have a big event that starts later today. The events committee's been working on this for a long period of time. It's a C-47 that's flying in here. It'll be here for 3 days, and you're allowed to get tickets for that. You can pay for that. There's very few tickets left. But that's what they did in World War II, flew on a C-47. I'm going to give a little summary about a C-47 before we get into the P-47. So you get sevens and C's and D's and everything messed up. Now, Mr. Hitch is in the front row. Who's this man in the middle, Jim? His name's Gutenberg and some other ones that you will know. Now, the reason I put him up here is he ran Sorvell. Sorvell was a big company here, and they made what we call refrigerators. And they had one moving part in my grandparents' house all the time. They worked for a while, and now they start making refrigerators more complicated. Now they're back to the one part with the gas. It's running by gas. Very efficient. One moving part in the refrigerator. And Sorvell was a major employer here in Evansville. Gutenberg ran that. But this big, tall dude on the right of him, on the left of him, he's a general from World War II. Now, does anybody know him? Has anybody ever met that guy? He died in 48, almost everyone born, and he was a scene. But his name is General Knudsen, Knudsen. And he was a good friend of Gutenberg's back in the late 20s. I think that's very instrumental in the next things I say of why we got so many contracts here. In 1939, 1940, we had about $1 million contracts. In World War II, we had 600 million military contracts, which is an amazing difference. It's partly because this man in the center named Gutenberg knew people in Washington, D.C., knew hierarchs, and knew that big boy on the left there. That big boy on the left, I'm going to show you what his credits are, but he started with Henry Ford, went from Henry Ford 1911 to 1920. He learned how to make things quickly on an assembly line. He left there, became the president of the Chevy department of General Motors from 24 to 37. Then he was the head of all the General Motors, the president from 37 to 40. FDR spotted that guy, and he didn't even know how to put a uniform on, but he got that uniform. He got 3 stars. You couldn't do anything unless you had a lot of stars. They looked down upon you. 3 stars is a lot. He was the highest ranker from civilian service ever. And he's in charge of all the production in the United States. Hired in 1940. So that's a big deal. This man right there has probably made a big difference in our society in Evansville. That man right there, his name's Knudsen, and I will just show you his credits. This is his credits. This is just about what I just said. What he did with Ford. Remember, Henry Ford was the master of mass production, and he learned a lot in a decade here. Then he did the same thing at General Motors. And we had another plant here called Chrysler, and so he'd already worked with 2 of the biggest ones around. He worked with Chrysler and did a lot of things with Chrysler, gave them a lot of things to make it World War II. What was his influence? Look at that influence. He made things happen smoothly in the United States. Led companies that had never made a military product before. We had 80 different companies here in Evansville, 80 that made military products, and you'll see it when you walk around the museum. That's an amazing accomplishment. He taught people, he knew how to make things happen. And we, as a society, made it happen. This is what he said in World War II, during World War II. And he came to visit here, and he said, we smothered the enemy. We smothered them with an avalanche of production. They never thought it would happen. It was unbelievable what happened in the United States. I am a baby boomer. I wasn't born in World War II. Some of you were born at that time. And I started doing this about 16 years ago, and I am still interested. I think what happened in our United States from 40 to 45 is absolutely amazing. And Evansville was a big part of it, and I'm going to show you how they were a big part. So the world didn't think it happened. But FDR, remember, he was Assistant Secretary of the Navy in World War I, so he started to know about war, and so FDR at least hired the right guy. This guy made things happen because how we won the war was our industrial infrastructure. Now, this is from Donna Bolton. She created this little slide, but it says, look at what happens. July 41. Remember, the thing in Hawaii didn't happen until December 8th of 41. Look at this. 41. All the higher-ups, Mayor Dress, he's about 6'4", 6'6", tall dude. Bainey Campbell, he's a congressman. Ruthenberg, other higher-ups, plus union members, went to Washington, D.C. in July of 41. This was 6 months before things happened, before we went to war. But they said we can work together. We will work as a unit. Evansville will work. And so we got our foot in the door early. And probably because Ruthenberg knew this general. So that helped us get a contract. That's OPM, that's what this general was in charge of. Producing things, not just in Evansville, across the United States. In that picture I showed you before, Ruthenberg said he knew him 20 years before. So Ruthenberg had kept contact with him. Now, we won all these awards. There's a flag in the main gallery. It shows that flag over there, Army D-Day award. Only 5% of factories got a real award in the United States in World War II. We got about 41 here, 15 different factories. Tremendous accomplishment. Said they produced, they did a good job. They had ways of grading them. It's like in school. They just didn't give those grades away easy. This is how many people we had. 18,000 factory workers in 1939, 1940. Look what it changed, 41. Look what it changes to. Right here, in the 1940s, it goes up to close to 80,000. This number says 71,000. And I'm not going to talk about all these. I can't talk about 80 factories. I'm just going to talk about this P-47, because this is our big baby here. Okay? This is our little baby right back here. And you as a society and a lot of leaders got that LST. There's one LST left in the world that's functioning. It's right here in Evansville. We made 167. 1,100 plus were made in World War II. We made more than anybody else, and we got it here. It's going to be a destination place for people coming to visit. Now, this big tank back here, this big P-47, that's a beauty. That is in good shape. It's been named Hoosier Spirit II, and we acquired that. So that's the second thing. The third thing, the big production here was bullets, and we're going to do something on the bullet factory as well. That's one thing we haven't, one of the things we haven't got accomplished. Now this is what happened in World War II aircraft. You can't see it in the back, I guess. Can you see back there, Georgie? Can you see it? Okay, the top number. Let me just show you a graph of what happened in 1939, right here. Look at that. The little blue line says we made about 3,000 aircraft in 1939, 1940. Look at that big red line. That's how we made World War II. It went from 3,000 to 300,000. So this is what Port Evansville did. It's about in the middle there. But you look, we made close to 80,000 big bombers. We had a big bomber here the other day. Well, about 2 weeks ago, we had a B-17, and we had people lined up seeing it. People like to see it. They got to crawl in it. They got to fly in it. They love it. That's one of the top parts. Those are the bombers. They drop the bombers. The second part is fighters. It's close to 100,000 fighters. We made 6,200 here in Evansville. One of that series rolled off the line in 44. And then down the other is support. Support is a C-47. We're having a C-47 flying here tonight. They'll be here for 3 days. You'll see it flying all around town. And I'll tell you just what it did a little bit in World War II. There's the last one on the bottom there, second last that says a trainer. That's a steerman. Dr. John Bazal just gave us that trainer. That's a trainer. That's the very first thing a pilot got in. And those are hard to fly. If you're doing a simulator, you're not going to jump into that right. That's a hard one. So weed it out a lot of people quick. It turns to the right. It's a hard plane to fly. That's the first thing they fly in. Then they have 2 other trainers, and they pop into that thing. Alan Sanderson's on board, and he flew that one, and he flew 2 others before he got to, he went to P-40, P-36, P-40, then he went into this big baby out there. Very good pilot. Now that's a C, that's called a sky train, okay? Now what is a sky train? We had one here about 3 years ago. We had vacuumed this tank. It's about 98 feet wide. That hangar is 100 feet wide. We missed by 6 inches back in there. We stormed out the way to back the thing in. That thing is a wide plane. This one's going about 40 feet wide. So it's more than twice the width of that. Now, why this plane is so important? It was built about 1936. It was also called a DC-3. Airplane traffic was like this up to 36. In 36, it went up 600% because of this plane. It's going to hold all kinds of customers. Airlines could make money. You could put 24 customers there and make some money. Prior to that, it was always just about 12 customers. So really a great invention by Douglas, DC-3. Now this is the 101st Airborne. If you go to our honor gallery, there's a McReynolds displayed in there. He was a hero. He was one of the 101st Airborne. The 101st Airborne came up here, practiced in McCutcheon for a while, then went over and was at D-Day. This is Ike. He was your president in the 50s. Eisenhower. He was trying to give these guys a pep talk. And this is the first airborne right from around here. This is the airplane they went in. That's the C-47. They hold about 19 parachutes. They jump out the back. This is Parachute City. On D-Day, for 4 days around D-Day, 60,000 parachuters landed there. Look at that. My God, like a bunch of birds. That's what the sky looked like around D-Day, 4 days around D-Day. Look at that there. That's all parachutes. And that plane would also bring people that were injured back to the war. So it did a little everything. It supported all kinds of things. Now, that's just the C-47. I'm just going to tell you 2 other things about the C-47 that's going to be here. That's a transport plane. Now, I took 2 different families back in the honor gallery. One was a breaker, Lloyd Breaker. He'd be 97 right now. He died about 2 years ago. I put him on YouTube. And I brought the Carson family through there. And they wouldn't leave an exhibit. There's an exhibit of the C-46 in there. It's about twice the size of this plane. But this plane plus the C-46 was what we call fly the hunt. It flew goods from India to China because Japan had just about taken over China and they had blocked the Burmese trail. That's the only way to get goods in and out. They already blocked all the ports. So this is the biggest airlift ever. But this started it, and then the C-46 followed, bringing men, gasoline, and goods over to China, and it kept Japanese, a million troops sort of trapped there in China, fighting Chinese, so they couldn't go fight somewhere else. So it kept people in line over there, and that plane is probably responsible for that. So they didn't make them here, they made it in Long Beach, made them in Santa Monica, made them in Oklahoma, made about 11,000 in World War II. Great transport, you can fly in it. I've been in it before, it's a nice baby, it flies nice. I don't fly, but it flies nice. You don't worry about me flying. Now, this is Hoosier Spiritual. That's what we're here to just talk about, because I can't talk about everything today. We're going to talk about just this plane. The month we're talking about more, and we're talking about more money. You're going to be able to educate, you know more about it than most people never know when you get done with it. I mean, this is a lot of distilled information. So, we made this aircraft right here. First of all, they didn't want to make this aircraft here. They made it in Farmingdale, New York. They just couldn't make enough of it in Farmingdale, New York. They made 8,000. That's the main plant called Republic Aviation. And they tried to make it at LaGuardia. LaGuardia said, we don't have any room. And then they went to Suffolk, New York. And they went there, and they all said, no, we don't have any room. So we were the 3rd or 4th choice, everything. But we got it. And we got this contract to make that big baby here. We made 600. You know how hard it is to make a plane? Oh my God. And we never made a plane there before. Look at that. Now, that big gun's on the front. Now, the guns, Janice will bring those bullets up. Can you bring those bullets to me? They're up in the, I want 3 bullets. They're in the Karis Jessup. They're over in the honor gallery. They're on a little red thing. Well, they were supposed to be brought up there. But a bullet coming out of that is a 50 caliber bullet. The size of your index finger, okay? That's a big bullet, okay? Now, when you pull the trigger, when Alan Sanderson pulled the trigger, the bullets would all be gone in 23 seconds. There's 1,000 bullets in each wing, 250 for each gun. So in 23 seconds, they're all gone. It's called, and I'll show you a track of it, it's all 9 yards. And that's where that came from. So if you're out of bullets, you better get hold because you haven't got any more defense. That baby is strong. It will go about 300 miles an hour. Okay, we go 300 miles. Its maximum speed is 426. Go 300 miles an hour and it's pulling the bullets. When it's pulling these bullets, the power of that is your 150 truck. I know some men got a 150 truck. What are you doing? This is the size of that bullet. And that baby is not nice. Okay, it is not nice. So what it can do, because there's 8 coming out at one time, chop a tree down, it turned a tank over, it turned trains over, it did all kinds of things. That's partly what it did. It says here, fire, bomb, and ground attack. So what Alan Sanderson did was he was stationed in Italy, and when the Germans were retreating, he was chased all the way. And what Patton said he loved was P-47, because it chased all the German troops. They would find the big tunnels, and they would drop a skip bomb in the front of the tunnel, back tunnel, the train gets stuck in the tunnel. it was an amazing thing. So we use these bullets, skip bombs, and they also had missiles. 3 different things they did. That. See the size of that bullet? We did not make these bullets here. This other bullet, which some of your family made, this is another bullet. This is a 45 bullet. Size of your little bitty finger, half your bitty finger. And you look at the outside, it's steel. We ran out of brass in World War II, so within a month, the metallurgists had to work on that, figure out how to make a steel bullet. Very difficult because it doesn't flex as much as brass. But brass is a much better bullet than a steel bullet. But they made that, they only made 3 billion of these. So you stretch this right here, I put one end on the end, and it goes around the world 3 times. 75,000 miles. Women mostly made it, and we made it in less than 3 years. So if Dick here could make a bullet, could make 100 bullets a minute, it would take him from the Revolutionary War until now to finish. So you got a lot of work to do. So we made one other type of bullet here. This is for the M1 carbine. This is a 30 caliber bullet. This we only made 500,000 of those. If you look at Patton's book said, this is what we shot on that rifle there. When you look at the rifle, there's an M1 carbine. And the M1 carbine, he said, won World War II. Everybody says something on World War II. You can pop somebody from 300 yards. That's 3 football teams. Now the regular M1 couldn't do it. It could hit from about 100 yards. That could hit you from 300 yards. With that, boy, you were sitting up anywhere in the world. But that's what Patton said in his book, that the M1 carbine is a heavy gun. It's 8 or 9 pounds. I don't know. Okay, so this is what we have. All the fighters in World War II, there's a Zero in Japan, there's a Messerschmitt in Germany, they have 38,000, Japanese had 10 to 15,000 Zeros, and then the other one was a Spitfire in England, okay? Those are the 4 big fighters in this one. Now, P-51 came along a little later, and I'll talk about P-51, but this thing weighed twice as much, so that's 17,000 pounds. That's because that big engine over the left. The big engine has not just 9 cylinders, it's got 18 cylinders. So that baby has 2,000 horsepower. All those others had about 1,100 horsepower. So it could carry a lot more load. They call it the jug because you stand it on its end, it looks like a milk bottle. So they call it the jug. Okay. But you look at the offense it has. 5 rockets, they didn't work very well, but you had skip bombs. There's a guy who used to keep records. He died recently. He lived in, he was stationed in Melville, New Jersey. They had about 1,057. They'd be doing skip bombs. They'd hit a bridge, hit something else. They dropped the bomb, they skip and then hit the bridge, hit the tunnel, hit a tank, and they were 500 pounds to 1,000-pound bombs on the bottom of this. Now the other ones, those other fighter planes couldn't be a bomber. They were just fighting with the bullets coming. This is your mate. I don't know who the lady is, though. I read it. You should know who's that lady. She's an actress. She's famous. I don't know who she is. No, come on, give me here. Okay, well, she's with Bob Hope anyway. That's the all 9 yards. Up there in that, you can't see it unless you can jump 20 feet, look inside where we got the bullets. But the bullets, this is called the all 9 yards. So we had 250 bullets for one gun, 250 next. There's four lines of bullets for each wing. That's what it looked like. You had to load them up before. And these big tall bullets I showed you. This is a guy named Johnson, and he was a hero in World War II. They put these things on the side of all the kills that he had. That's when he really hit another plane, okay? So he was the second most lethal pilot. And if you look at it, he came back with 100 holes in his plane. This plane was different than the other planes, all the fighter planes. It has air coolers. So when I go to your car out front, or that bus out front, I put 2 bullets in a radiator. It's going to last till you get about halfway down tank. Then it's no good, okay? But if you got air cooled, I can shoot all kinds of bullets. So he came back with 100 bullets, and the plane was still flying. So that's the advantage of having an air-cooled plane. All the other fighters, except for the Fokker, were water-cooled. Now all those emblems on the side there, we are going to put emblems like that on the side of this, but we're going to put them with people that donate. So you're more than welcome. We still have to pay for that plane. We paid for half of it. This is called P747 Foundation. We paid for half of it. We just got to pay for the other half. So if you got a deep pocket, just come our way. Talk to Jan, she's here, or my wife or somebody, and we'll give you a receipt, you can write it off. Okay? But your name can go on there forever, because this plane doesn't leave here. We're going to have a great big board here. Put your name or your parents' name or somebody else, you know, and you can get on the plane. But you can't do it. We'll just dock. You got to be a little more dock. This is the other guy. He's the most celebrated off. He beat Eddie Rickenbacker with the most kills. Gabby, the person, he was Polish and he was a sort of loud mouth. Never quit talking. The guy got in trouble all the time. But he was a hero in the next war, the Korean War. Quit 1967. Then he worked for some other company. They kicked him out for 2 years because, you know, I think he was still individualistic. Pilots got, you know, a little bit of an ego. I don't know if you want that. This is Gabby, but he was a hell of a pilot. Those are the size of bullets. And he had Polish descent. This is him putting in the side of the gun. And this is the site. So you living in Evansville, there's a little hill over towards Sunset Cemetery. This tore the hill down about 10, 15 years ago. It's a hill there. And we shot the bullets, we aimed it, and that's about 1,000 feet, 1,000 yards, and that's where all the bullets would convert. So your target was usually about 1,000 yards ahead of you. That's pretty close to your target. This is what it looked like. That's that hill. And then all the bullets, you see them coming down below the plane. So you had to get the sights on those. That's the reason for this plane is to knock the other people off. So you had to have those sights set up. So they aimed, got the sights already. That's what it looked like. The tracer bullets, and that's all the cylinders, or what do you call those things? The shells all come down the ground. That's what the inside of this looks like. Just a beautiful machine. It's got a lot of room. Alan Sanderson's not a big guy, so we had a lot of room. But even big guys had a lot of room in this plane. Look how complicated that was. And these guys had to go learn on this. We're making planes, but they're all getting taught in these trainers for 3 or 4 years to become a pilot. He had 118 missions. That's not very many missions. And he probably had 118 other flights, or maybe 200 other flights. That's not a lot to be up there shooting other people. There's the guy, you see the bomb on the bottom. You had the bombs hanging on the bottom if you want. These planes are pretty strong. You can put a whole bunch of people on the wing. There's a bomb, they're hanging the bomb. That's a 500-pound bomb. That's what it looked like. Skip bomb. And there's what you call cluster bombs. We used a lot of those in Japan to drop incendiary bombs. That's how they fell out of or dropped out of the planes when we burnt up Japan, February, March, and April of 45. That's what a bomb looks like. 500 and 1,000-pound bombs. We also had rockets. They weren't really big. They came out of the wings. And so, summary of what this plane did. It's called high altitude. So we could get up to 25,000 feet. And because it had a thing called a turbocharger, look at that. It could fly faster than any other fighter plane. So when it got up high, it was really tough. It could fly all the others. The air is too thin for the others, unless you have a turbocharger. So this being a turbocharger did better at higher altitudes. At medium altitudes, the P-51 did a lot of the escorting because it could get further distance. This has 270-gallon gas tank and it has rubber on both sides. So you put a bullet through it, it's self-sealing. So when a bullet gets through the gas tank, the other rubber would expand and it wouldn't leak. But it only had 270 gallons. So 270 gallons, and you use 5 gallons a minute, you'd be losing all your gas in an hour for full force. So it could get halfway to Germany and back. Then we put other gas tanks on the bottom to get it to go further. The P-51 could go further. So this was, once we started getting in mainland Europe, we could fly this thing anywhere. But coming all the way from England is a little bit further, and we had gases. If you look at the bottom there, it says European Pacific here, the ground attack, it was amazing. We knocked off so many trains, so many tanks, and that's what Alan Sanderson, and he just hit everything up and down in what you call Italy. And this was a great ground attack plane. These are the other ones with those big engines, and they were big in World War II, but we don't have time to talk about them. Other countries use this plane. We didn't just put it in our troops, we put it in with England, Soviet Union, Mexico, and Brazil. Sorties, more sorties than even the P-51, best ground attack. This is the speed, tanks, trains, and airstrikes. I talked about that. Jug, I talked about that. Firepower, and a dogfight. If you put it in a dogfight with P-51, that is none of your P-51 fake. But I want you to be a P-47 fake. Okay? So quit being P-51 fake. Be a P-47 fake. So I had a dogfight. Those two fighting. that one would win. Put them both sights on. The reason that would win is because it's air cooled, mostly. Because the other bullets would hit the other radiator and it'd be gone. So dogfight, this would probably win. And that's written in Google, and Google knows everything. Okay, so this is pretty much the comparison, because everybody says the P-51, it had 6 guns, same size. They said it's a little bit more, it could fly around a little bit better, navigate or maneuver a little bit better. But this one was a heck of a plane and did a lot in World War II. The P-51 they used in the Korean War and used for other things. But, and then the development, I don't want to go there, but there are 2 Russian guys who both left Russia in 1917. They came over to develop that. And first guy's named Servetsky, and he created this plane, really, and this other guy got all the credit. They kicked him out of the company in 1939, then the other guy ran the company, Carter-Valley, so he got all the credit. But a lot of the precursors to that were done by this guy named Servetsky, and he was an ace in Russia in World War I. He only had 1 leg, he could still fly, and he knew a lot about war, so I think he should get more credit to the other guy. And these are the prototypes. I don't want to go over that, but now I'm going to just summarize things. Thank you for coming today. Now, after this is over, we're here, the public's coming in at 12, so pretty soon. You can walk around the place. We have docents in each room that can tell you about things. You have questions you can ask. People in red shirts are docents here. We would like you to be a docent. You seem like pretty smart people, and we don't pay you, but you can be a docent. And so we like you to be a docent. The other thing is you got stuff in your garage, got stuff in your attic. You got things in your attic. You got things in your garage. You got friends with things. Don't throw them out to the junkyard. We have a collection committee that meets once a month. Bring them here. We'll decide if we can really show them. We're trying to rotate things, but things are very valuable here. For the 80 different factories we have, we want to show our next generation what we did here in Evansville. And you have artifacts. And they're throwing them out left and right. I don't want you to throw anything out. At least bring them by. If we can't use them, we'll give them back to you. But we'd like to exhibit some more things in this museum. And we want you to tell your offspring or your nieces and nephews about it. This next month, when you come here next month, we will have 4 simulators working in the back room, and we will let you fly. And we'll let you fly for about a half an hour, and then we'll get to the next person. And you can't get the plane by yourself yet. Don't look at it, the experience. And the kids, we want to learn. They will learn a whole new language. Just like running a ship, you learn a whole new language. And it's experiential learning. It's not learning sitting in the book. These kids don't want to listen for 5 minutes, so they've got to be doing something. This will let them do something. It's not a play toy. They're going to be supervised the whole time. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come this weekend for the C-47. We're going to have other events. I want you to tell the people, and this is going to happen the first Thursday next month and the first Thursday the month after that. Okay, so it's in September something and October something, I don't know the date. But the first Thursday, lunchtime, and we'll have lunch. My wife and Jan have been working on this lunch, and they are tired. So thanks for coming. I'll take 2 questions, and then you can go anywhere you want. Thank you, Skorka, again. Jack Putnam helped me get this set up. Jack, right there. Go ahead. I got the microphone.
Do you have time for any questions?
Yes, questions. Jack will field the questions, and he can't all things. Okay, we got one over here. We'll repeat the question because we won't be over here. Yes, ma'am. Oh, do you have to have an appointment for the simulator? Well, we're in the evolution of that. She wants to have an appointment. Evolution of that simulator. We have 4 that should be here today. We got to set them up. We got to paint the room. But I don't know. Go ahead and answer for you next time, okay? But they'll be ready to go. If I could fly the P-47, we're going to have a P-47 program in there because we want kids to learn about the P-47. Not that they can fly it, but we want the experience. The program that talks about World War II and things. Okay, I didn't answer that one. Next question. Okay, I'm zero for one.
You guys were thanking me. The guy to thank is Mark Brown. And I understand Jennifer was cooking this stuff for us last night.
Jan Howe from MD's Deli.
And all the volunteers here, everybody registered as volunteers, they work for nothing. Now, Mr. Dye can wear a blue shirt, but he is volunteer, and Jan has wear a blue shirt. They're supposed to have red, I thought, but they are colorblind. But they are also volunteers. And Mike Stevens, look, he gets a free tour guide. Dick's got a red shirt on, okay? He can be a tour guide. Okay, thank you. And make yourself at home. Don't think you're everywhere. We want you to walk around. That's what this is about. Thank you. Yeah, go away. Mike Stevens got his thing. Go ahead. Okay, well, speak up.
I'm trying. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. A couple of commercials. One, memberships are available if anybody would like to sign up. Everybody here is a volunteer. We have one employee and they work 1 day a week. So if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. We accept donations. And again, thanks for coming and look forward to seeing you again. Very good. Thank you.
This guy right here went to Central High School. His name's Jim Hitch. And he went to Central High School. Central High School got $60,000 or $75,000 to get a plane. They donated, got it all. No other high school got it, and he was part of that. We have a picture in the newspaper. There were 5 girls there, but not him. 5 girls in front of that plane. But he was in World War II, and he helped get one of these 6,200 P-47 sponsors from Central High School. $78,000. That is a little more expensive.
One more thing, I was reminded that my wife was a gift shop, and if I didn't mention it, I wasn't going to get dinner tonight. So stop by the gift shop and browse around.
There's just a place. You got Honor Gallery over there, Red Cross room there, main hall there, and this room out here. I'll just tell you quickly, that's an Ellis, that's a Higgins boat. They made 20,000 World War II. We got about 4 of them down by the LSD, and that's something to look at. There's a Jeep, we made 600,000 Jeeps, half Fords, half Willys, and then all these guns are foreign guns versus American guns, and a lot of other things to look at. Love to have you just browse and have a good time. Thank you for coming.
Flags on the wall. The flags on the wall. That's every country that was an ally of us during World War II. There's a flag up on the wall. This is a meet and greet. So meet and greet. Say hello to your neighbors. Oh, hi. Nice to see you. I'm still proud of it.